This segment of Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, First Community Financial Bank, the community bank where you come first. Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Wernette, and I'm joined now by Amy Schade and Stacy Colgan to talk to us about the Naperville Education Foundation. So welcome to the set, ladies.
Thank you.
We're excited to talk to you about this because Naperville Community School District 203 has a wonderful foundation. Amy, tell us a little bit about it. How did it get started?
Sure. Well, NEF, we've been around for 25 years. We're actually celebrating our 25th anniversary. And we're the philanthropic arm of Naperville School District 203, which means that we're the nonprofit who we raise money and we distribute money throughout the school district to support various programs around the district. So we do things that focus on enhancing the student experience. We've already got a great student experience here in 203, but we work with Trustee Awards and annual grant awards to further support the students. We support education through things like math camp and study skills, and we also work to support just essential needs for students, such as the Start the Day breakfast program, which provides breakfast for kids who come to school hungry, and Kid Boosters Anonymous as well.
Okay. Lots of good things on both sides, the enrichment and the supportive services, which I think is so important. Stacy, talk a little bit about Kid Boosters, because this is a really interesting and innovative program. So tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. One of the things that I love about District 203 is that they build such great relationships with students. So they do a really great job, whether it be a dean or a nurse or a school social worker, they do a great job of finding out their individual needs. And then based on those needs, writing a grant to NEF, a Kid Booster grant, and helping them. Now, a grant could be anything from a student that has just been diagnosed with diabetes and we are able to send them to diabetes camp, or maybe a student that's struggling in education, having a hard time with math and needs some extra tutoring. Or maybe there's a senior in high school that just can't get to school because they're having some significant anxiety. We'd be able to write a grant so that they were able to get some counseling services. So whatever that may be, our staff does a great job of finding out what those needs are and helping support those students, writing the grant. We have a small committee that reviews it, and then hopefully that's awarded. So it's really wonderful to see.
One-on-one, direct impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Amy, that program has evolved a lot because Kid Boosters started off very differently. So talk a little bit about how that's evolved over time.
Yeah, the idea behind Kid Boosters, actually, if we go all the way back 25 years ago to when we originally started NEF, two of our founding trustees, Ed Chanel and John Matzock, both were interested in supporting individual students, and so they started a scholarship fund, and they funded 2 scholarships originally at $2,500 each, and they were looking for students who might not otherwise be able to go to college, and had a great experience with that. Really impacted people's lives. We had one of the recipients come back and tell us about the impact of that 25 years later, so it's been really meaningful.
That was a great story.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the audience when Vince gave his story, and I don't think there was a dry eye in the room. It was just the trajectory of his life completely changed.
And he talked about the value of having the community support and feeling that NEF really believed in him and gave him his chance really to get started. So this led us to thinking about how we could support those individual students, and that's where the idea of sort of Kid Booster evolved, was to think about what are the individual needs, where can we support people on an individual basis and be able to give them the exact and specific help that they need or assistance that they need in that particular time.
That's wonderful. And I think, and you talked a little bit about it as far as being able to identify those and really getting to know the students so you know what you're asking for and what might be able to change that trajectory for people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Stacy does a lot of work with the social workers and all the staff at the school to identify who those individuals are as well.
And can anybody nominate for a grant? Can anybody do it at any one of the schools?
Absolutely. One of my favorite stories is a social worker was working with an elementary student, and she would speak to her very often. This little girl was very sad, and when she would go home, her and her father, she'd lived just with her father, a veteran who was on disability, and they would watch lots and lots of TV. So after the social worker worked with her for some time, she found out that she had a passion for swimming. So she reached out to Bear Paddle, and they gave an incredible deal, and she got 6 months of of swim lessons by writing a grant through the Kid Booster.
That's wonderful.
Right,
So again,
great
all very
story.
different, very custom,
Yes,
very unique.
Absolutely.
Now, Stacy, I think there's some real misconceptions about the demographics in District 203, and it's really changing. So say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think that I grew up in Naperville. I think people are often surprised that when we started 25 years ago, about 1 to 2% of our families in the district needed some financial support. Now it's risen all the way to 17%. So that's a pretty large increase. So 1 out of almost every 5 students, their parents are struggling financially. So these Kid Booster grants are really helpful for many of our families.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. And I think oftentimes when you've lived in a community a long time, you're not necessarily as aware, or you've moved out of, your kids have moved out of the school district, so you maybe are not as familiar with what the school district looks like today. So that is a big evolution, a big change. How do you raise awareness and how do you get people to get behind what you're doing and help donate and help partner? Because I know it's not just about the donations, it's about partnering with the NEF.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a couple of events a year. We just had our Founders Classic golf outing last month. We have a big 25th anniversary celebration coming up in September as well. And we're always looking for, as you said, volunteers to help us, as well as partnerships, any donation, large or small. We also have a marathon team, so the half marathon and the 5K that's coming up, as well as a kids marathon team that's running 1.2 miles. And if kids want to participate in that, they can join our team and get a T-shirt and a discount on the marathon as well. So there are a lot of different ways that we reach out and try to get our message to different people in the community and to try to get more people involved as well. We're always looking for volunteers and knowledge and expertise.
And I think that's what's so lovely is it could be just hours that you're donating, your time, it could be money that you're donating. As a business, you could partner with the NEF. So there's lots of different ways for the community to plug in with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking for anyone from running one of our teams to sponsoring one of our events. So any help is appreciated.
Okay. Now, you mentioned you're celebrating your 25th anniversary. That's coming up in September. Just give us a real quick update on what that event's going to look like.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to have a cocktail party celebrating the quarter century that we've already been around and taking a look at what's coming up in our future. So who knows, in 25 years we'll be back talking about all the changes and evolution since today.
Well, I hope you will be. I hope the three of us will be back talking about it. I want to thank you for the work that you're doing on behalf of the kids. I know it's very important and it's very appreciated work, so thank you. If you would like to find out more about the Naperville Education Foundation and the work they are doing to support students in District 203, please go and visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We're coming right back with more Spotlight.